An avid collector of paintings is on the show with two interesting paintings he bought at a garage flea market in New York for $100. Both paintings bear the signature of the artist named Glenti. Achilles Glenti was born in 1848 and died in 1906. He was an Italian painter known for mostly elegant genre or Orientalist subjects. These paintings are called diptych because they speak to each other with a man knocking on the door and a lady listening coyly on the other end. They were painted in the late 19th century or early 20th century, probably in Italy, for the European high-style market. Another aspect of these paintings is the detail, especially of the male figure, but the female figure has some condition issues. Moreover, the paintings are oil on canvas, which is stable and fit into Rosecliff, a mansion in Rhode Island, with the moldings around the door. For the two paintings, an auction estimate would be $2,000 to $3,000, while an insurance value would be...
And for insurance, I would suggest an insurance value of $5,000.
Oh, wonderful. That's great.
This three-piece garniture set was found on the mantelpiece of the guest country home. It is from the 19th century and is marked Rango Freres. Rango Freres is a well-known clock-making company that produced most of the remarkable clocks of the 19th century. The company was founded in 1823 by Rango Freres with his four sons, and they were known for their ornate mantel clocks, wall clocks, and vases. Moreover, this piece has exquisite details in the way that the carving and gilding is done, and such pieces were meant to impress. Also, it came as a set with the two side pieces with original castings. Hence, at an auction, this three-piece garniture set would be worth around...
I think as an auction estimate, we might put $3,000 to $5,000 on it.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
This magnificent stove is unusual in America. Nevertheless, this guest has had it in his home for many years. These kinds of stoves were imported from France into the United States and were made by a French company named La Cornue. La Cornue was founded in 1908 in France. The company is a producer of premium cooking appliances. The stove is solidly built and the oven covers are made of cast iron. Moreover, the company is still in business and the stove parts are bought separately. The oven part, the stove part, and the hood. For the new ones, the oven part cost $50,000. The stove part is $25,000, while the hood is about $11,000. However, a fair estimate for this stove and the oven at an auction would be around...
And you can find them, the tops and bottoms together in the $15,000 to $20,000 range.
The guest brought in a print that belonged to his relative, which was purchased for $80. It's a screen print, printed in black and made on a mirror-colored Rolex, a type of layered plastic with indentations in it. This print was made by an artist named Roy Fox Lichtenstein, an American pop artist, whose works were inspired by the comic book style. There are various layers of colors in this print, and the only part that is printed on it is the black seascape. This print was self-published by Lichtenstein in 1966, a period when he was gaining popularity in his Ben Day dots he used to reproduce comic book scenes. It was an edition print, which means he made others. However, only one other example of this image was found when the catalog for his prints was published in the 1980s. Moreover, it is an original print signed with a pen by the artist and numbered from an edition of the 1970s. Also, this print was not sold publicly, as only two other screen prints on Rolex like this are found in the artist's galleries, Leo Castelli in New York in 1964 and 65. Hence, this scarce, colorful, wild print on plastic would have an insurance value around...
I would say you need to insure this for around $20,000.
Oh my God! It's incredible.
The guest obtained Martin Luther King Jr.'s autograph in 1965 at a San Juan hotel. Martin Luther King Jr. was an American Baptist minister, activist, and political philosopher who was one of the most prominent leaders in the civil rights movement from 1955 until his assassination in 1966. During a breakfast event, the guest fathers encouraged him to request Dr. King for his signature.
So he said, it's Martin Luther King. He said, I dare you to ask him for his autograph. I took his dare, and as I walked to the front of the room where Dr. King was talking to several people, I picked up this program from one of the tables.
The signed program commemorates the Breakfast of Brotherhood, honoring Dr. King's Nobel Peace Prize. Dr. King's signature was a pristine example, obtained in person by the guest. A previous appraisal estimated the autograph's value at several $100s. However, its value had appreciated significantly due to Dr. King's enduring legacy. As a rare and exceptional piece, the autograph held immense value for collectors and got appraised at,
I would put a value of this at auction for between $2,000 and $3,000.
Wonderful. It's so exciting to know.
The guest stumbled upon a hidden gem at a garage sale 30 years ago, purchasing a small table for $25.
I thought, this is a great thing. It was pitch black, it was a moldy mess, and the lady was asking $30, so I said, but I only have $25.
Despite its poor condition, the table's potential was evident with its unique shape and size. As it turned out, the table was a masterpiece of federal inlaid mahogany craftsmanship, created by the renowned John and Thomas Seymour.
The actual label
Yes.
of John Seymour and Son, Creek Square, Boston, which is where they work.
Intricate inlay work adorned the table, featuring egg and dart patterns, and its covered edge added a touch of sophistication.
It's just extraordinary because it's so rare to find label pieces.
Yes.
What you brought in today here is a federal inlaid mahogany demi-lune card table.
A rare label on the table revealed its origins, tracing back to John Seymour and Son, Creek Square, Boston. Exceptional craftsmanship was evident in the table's stainwood inlay, tapered legs, and delicate bow knot. The guest wisely chose to clean the table with linseed oil and turpentine, preserving its original finish. A true treasure from America's federal period, this table was appraised at,
On a good day, would be in the range of about $200,000 to $225,000.
Wow.
The guest brought a unique set design painting from the 1966 Batman movie, purchased from a Virginia collector.
So this painting is a set design painting from the Batman movie from 1966. I got it from a collector about 5 years ago in Virginia, and I just loved it.
This vibrant artwork captured a fantastical scene, showcasing the artist's creative liberties. Measuring large, the painting was rendered in acrylic or gouache on board, with subtle pen and ink details. Although unsigned, the piece was attributed to Leslie Thomas, a key contributor to the Batman franchise. The painting's dynamic scene was captivating, teeming with iconic characters. Adam West's iconic portrayal of Batman contributes to the painting's allure and value. As a devotee of production art and the Batman series, the guest found the painting's imaginative scene captivating. Given the burgeoning market for Batman memorabilia, this investment could yield a substantial return, making this painting valued at,
I think if you were to put it into an auction, the estimate would probably be somewhere around $6,000 to $8,000, but I would not be shocked at all if it went. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Appreciate it.
Dorothy Windle Heiser, the guest aunt, was a talented doll artist born in Pennsylvania in 1881. She created exquisite lifelike dolls sculpted in silk and hand-painted. Inheriting her aunt's collection, the guest possesses a treasure trove of historical and generic dolls. Original boxes accompany each doll, significantly enhancing their value. Heiser's dolls were highly sought after by collectors.
And again, the original box, which is hand-painted by Dorothy and handwritten with her name. She actually signed the box like it was a work of art.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Heiser's artistry and skill were evident in each doll, a testament to her legacy. As her niece, the guest connection to the artist added a personal touch. The rarity, beauty, and family history contribute to the collection's value, making it to be estimated at,
I believe that doll in its box would retail between $5,000 and $6,000. Again, in original boxes. So I would think these small dolls with the original box would be somewhere in the $2,000 range. And you have two of those. Then the doll with the extra clothing, I think would probably be in the range of $1,000 to $1,200.
A family's three-generation collection of ancient Indian artifacts uncovers tools used thousands of years ago. A person discusses their collection of Indian arrowheads, stamps, and coins.
I collect Indian arrowheads, I collect stamps, and I also collect coins.
I see. So you brought me the Indian things to show.
Yeah.
Focusing on arrowheads that have been collected by their family for 3 generations. Some of the pieces were collected by their father, grandfather, and even their grandmother. One of the arrowheads was found to be 9,800 years old, while another is around 4,000 years old. The speaker notes the importance of tracking where each artifact was found and suggests making a catalog of the collection. Some tools in the collection, such as a scraper and a woodworking tool, were used by ancient American Indian people before bows and arrows were common. The speaker explains that many items, like a netting stone, may have been used for generations to crack open acorns and nuts. While the exact tribes that made these artifacts are unknown, the value lies more in the family's experience of collecting them together. While giving a financial value, the appraiser said,
All these things together, you're probably talking about a value of $150, which is fairly significant for something you picked up off the ground.
Not just a sentimental keepsake, a former student's expertly crafted Newcomb pottery could be worth up to $5,000 today. A guest recalls attending Sophie Newcomb College from 1927 to 1929, where she took a decorative pottery course. She made 5 or 6 high-quality pieces, including 2 beautifully crafted coasters. The pottery, made on campus, featured designs inspired by the local environment, and her work was deemed good enough to be sold in the Newcomb College gift shop. The appraiser highlights the craftsmanship of the pieces.
And you never actually sold any of your pieces,
No,
though, you said.
I kept them.
You said that these were your $5,000 vases. Is that right? Because that's how much your college education cost, was $5,000.
That's correct.
Yes.
Because of their excellent condition and the added provenance of her being the artist, they might fetch up to $1,000 each. Her vases, normally valued at $1,000 to $1,200, could reach $1,500 due to their quality and history. Estimating the worth of the whole collection, the appraiser said,
So really here we're looking at about $4,000 or $5,000 worth of Newcomb pottery, and you're getting all your money back from your education. I think that's really great.
That's amazing.
It reflects both the artistry and sentimental significance of the pieces. A captivating Scottish Impressionist painting by John McGee showcases children by the shoreline. A guest explains that her mother, an art collector, found the painting 40 years ago in rural southern Ontario. She loved it and decided to buy it. The appraiser, from Scotland, recognizes the piece as by John McGee, a Scottish artist. McGee was known for painting children near the shoreline, often with boats in the background. This work is typical of his style and dates from around 1910 to 1920. McGee studied at the Glasgow School of Art and later in Paris. The painting is a good example of Scottish Impressionism. It still has its original frame. While giving a value, the appraiser said,
I would imagine that this painting should easily fetch at auction 3,000 to 5,000 and possibly even more than that.
Oh, I'm
So I
really
hope that's
surprised.
Good.
The guest inherited this exquisite-looking watch from his sister. This watch was from around 1900, completely adorned with black enamel and studded with hundreds of rose-cut diamonds on all sides. The watch was a rare triple-signed piece, with Tiffany & Company inscribed on the dial, the movement, and the case. The dial was hand-painted in multicolor, and the gauge on the metal was weighty, another trademark of Tiffany. It was indeed made by one of the finest makers of Tiffany. The watch was stunning and absolutely drop-dead gorgeous. Given its rarity, craftsmanship, and excellent condition, the appraiser estimated the watch to be,
it more than likely on a retail level today would sell in the $12,000 to $14,000 price range.
Oh my gosh. This is a collection of Breweriana collectibles from Omaha's Homey Inn, which had countless examples of older things from the mid-20th century. The inn's walls and ceilings were covered with artifacts, Breweriana and liquor bottles. The appraiser discussed the difference between beer and whiskey collectibles, noting that whiskey, being more expensive, was hoarded more and forms a separate category of interest for collectors. While beer enthusiasts focused on Breweriana, distillery collectors were drawn to branding and labeling, particularly from smaller regional distilleries. One example mentioned was the Old Tailor brand, originally from the Victorian era. Almost all of these were from small, now dysfunctional distilleries that the appraiser didn't know of much. During an appraisal, an expert estimated the retail value of a collection to be between
I believe a retail value on them would be $3,000 to $4,000 in today's market.
Before us is a stunning collection of tourmalines, each one displaying a rich variety of vibrant colors. This beautiful piece originally belonged to the guest's great-grandmother and was passed down to her by her grandmother. Far from mere costume jewelry, this is an exquisite and truly elegant heirloom. The ring dates back to 1885 and was crafted by Jacques and Marcus, a high-end jewelry house renowned for their intricate, finely detailed creations during the late 19th century.
It is also marked Jacques and Marcus, which is one of the iterations of Marcus and Company.
The piece features one or two peridots, elegantly separated by old mine-cut diamonds, which lend it a timeless and sophisticated look.
We have a variety of gemstones in 14-karat gold. What we have here is a series of tourmalines of different colors, green and pinks and yellows.
It serves as a perfect example of that late period when colorful gemstones were becoming more popular in jewelry design, making it a standout piece. An engraving, possibly a family crest, can be found on the ring, adding both personal and historical significance to the item. It also bears the mark of Jacques and Marcus, a signature representing one of the early iterations of the famed Marcus and Company. The craftsmanship and history behind the ring elevate its value, both sentimental and monetary. If brought to auction, this extraordinary piece would likely be estimated at around
I think that at auction we would safely put an auction estimate of around $6,000 to $8,000 on that piece.
She bought it in a local consignment shop for the worth of $350. This piece highlights the elegance of traditional Chinese embroidery. This exquisite textile hints at elite ceremonial use.
I think it was used for wall treatment or on a long table. It's almost like imperial quality.
The intricate design features a phoenix, symbolizing virtue and grace. Gold, red, and blue silk threads accentuate the phoenix flowing feathers. The detailed multicolored thread showcases Chinese artisans' mastery in creating lifelike images. This embroidery demanded immense time and skill, passed down through generations. Its timeless craftsmanship led the appraiser to value the item.
At the auction, it could go for about $7,000 to $10,000.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so you did well.
This axe belonged to Harry Karstens from the first Denali expedition, the guest's great-grandfather. This ice axe is notable for its use in the first successful ascent of Denali. The expedition, led by Karstens and Stuck, reached the Denali summit on June 7, 1913. Harry Karstens was key to the success of this challenging ascent. The axe was crucial for navigating icy slopes and ensuring safety during the climb. This tool represents a major mountaineering achievement and early exploration spirit.
Mountaineering is a wonderful niche category of highly specialized collectors that love this stuff, the enthusiast.
The appraiser valued the item as a rare relic of adventure's early triumphs.
At retail, for insurance purposes, $20,000.
Oh, no, that's a little bit too much.
It was found at a flea market in a small town in Illinois. It's the re-election poster of McKinley. The poster contrasts U.S. economic and social conditions before and after McKinley's presidency. On the left, Democratic leadership shows economic distress and Spanish rule. On the right, McKinley's administration shows recovery, growth, and American rule in Cuba. The image suggests Republican leadership delivered stability and prosperity. A large American flag at the center symbolizes unity and pride. Echoing a bygone era's fervor, the appraiser valued the item.
A fair estimate would be between $3,000 and $4,000.
Okay.
This remarkable piece was crafted by the Patek Philippe Company of Geneva, Switzerland.
This watch was handed down from my great-grandfather. He was the owner of the St. Paul Pioneer Press and Dispatch back in 1914 when he received this watch.
Originally, it was received by the great-grandfather, then passed down to the guest father, and finally to the guest. A photocopy of the original warranty reveals some of the complications associated with this watch. On the watch's front, the hour and minute hands are complemented by a second hand. It also features a split chronograph, allowing for the simultaneous timing of two events. Additionally, it includes a minute register for the chronograph, and off to the side is a slide for chiming the watch, known as a minute repeater.
It also has a split chronograph, so you can time two things. It also has a minute register for the chronograph.
When the watch is flipped over, it displays the day, date, month, and moon phase. It also boasts a perpetual calendar that adjusts for leap years. The watch is an exceptionally complex piece in excellent condition, complete with its original box. It includes two extra mainsprings and an additional crystal. Beneath the watch, you'll find the original crystal and the 18-karat gold engine-turned case. However, Patek Philippe is now acquiring such watches for their museum. At an auction, this exquisite watch would be valued at.
This watch at auction, I suspect, would bring close to $250,000.
No.
Yes.
$250,000?
This is one incredible watch.
This map tells the story of a nation's changing landscape and railroads. It isn't a decorative map, but a window into America's rail history. It captures an era where railroads were the lifeblood of industrial expansion. What makes this piece especially fascinating is that it came from a neighbor who acquired it at a silent auction in Camden, Indiana. The map was created by Rand McNally during a time when they were producing commissions specifically for railroad companies. Rand McNally, a household name in cartography, ensured their signature is printed in the lower corner.
Lucky for you, Rand McNally printed their name in the lower corner here. So it's published by Rand McNally in 1915.
The map is a precise representation of the rail lines in Indiana. It includes the iconic Chicago Northwestern line, which was eventually acquired by the Union Pacific Railroad. In pristine condition, the map is framed in what appears to be its original company issue frame. There's also no noticeable fading or damage in it, which is remarkable considering its age. The map is actually rare, and its historical significance makes it a dream acquisition for any railroad enthusiast. Based on its size, quality, and historical value, this map would likely retail for between.
If I was going to try to retail the piece, I would put about $1,000 to $1,500 on it, just for size, quality, and information.
Okay.
A cherished heirloom filled with memories and a timeless elegance. This necklace has been passed down through generations of this guest family. At first glance, it's a beautiful piece of jewelry, but there's so much more to discover about its craftsmanship and heritage. This necklace was crafted by the world-renowned house of Van Cleef Arpels.
You're right, it is Van Cleef Arpels, and Van Cleef Arpels was founded in Paris in 1896.
It dates back to the 1940s, a time when innovation and style went hand in hand. Van Cleef Arpels, founded in Paris in 1896, was celebrated for its artistic flair. But this particular piece hails from their New York studio. The necklace features a snake chain, often referred to as a gas pipe or mouse tail chain.
So what we have here, this is called a snake chain. Right. It's also called gas pipe or mouse tail.
But the hidden gem of this necklace lies in its innovative clasp, which has a built-in locking mechanism. It's in this mechanism, on the clasp, where the maker's signature is discreetly placed. There's also the brooch. The brooch is a stunning 14-karat gold piece adorned with rubies and diamonds.
It is 14-karat yellow gold. The brooch has rubies.
A versatile treasure, this brooch can be worn separately or attached to the necklace, making it both functional and fashionable. Considering its exceptional craftsmanship, history, and design, a piece like this would retail for between
at a good retail location, this would sell for between $8,000 and $12,000. Okay.
14 years ago, at a buzzing UCLA rally, this extraordinary gem was passed down to its current owner. It's an original piece of sheet music from Strike Up the Band, the 1927 musical by George and Ira Gershwin. Though the show was a flop, the song became a timeless American classic. UCLA in 1936 chose this very tune as their rally anthem. But here's the kicker. This particular sheet music is signed by both George and Ira Gershwin, making it a truly rare find.
So here we have wonderful sheet music from that UCLA version with the rewritten lyrics, and then we have this wonderful signature Ira and George on this particular piece.
With its bold vintage front cover, it's a visual treat for any collector. People don't collect sheet music for the tunes. They want that eye-catching artwork and the history behind it. And this piece, it has both in spades. The signatures alone make it priceless, but its historical tie to UCLA takes it to another level. At auction, this beauty is estimated to fetch between $3,000 and $5,000.
I at auction would put a pre-sale estimate of between $3,000 and $5,000.
Oh, very nice.
At a charity auction 17 years ago, a guest won a tracksuit and script from The Sopranos for just $100. The tracksuit, famously worn by Tony Soprano in Season 5, Episode 11, The Test Dream, is an iconic piece from a memorable dream sequence. The appraiser confirmed the outfit's authenticity, as it came directly from the show's production. The episode, penned by creator David Chase, features Tony wearing the tracksuit throughout the intense scenes with Carmela. Sadly, with James Gandolfini's passing in 2013, interest in his memorabilia has surged. The tracksuit's auction value is now estimated at $2,000 to $3,000. Paired with the script, which alone is valued at $1,000 to $1,500, it's a huge return for the guest. His modest charity bid turned into a cherished piece of television history.
The other thing that's great about this is this charity auction obviously got this directly from the production to put into the charity auction. This is absolutely tried and true. This is a correct piece from the series.
Wow.
Speechless, he couldn't believe his luck. The tracksuit, a symbol of Tony Soprano's legacy, became a prize collector's item, leaving the guest in awe.
I would say the tracksuit right now would be worth at least in the auction estimate range, around $2,000 to $3,000.
Oh, wow. Wow, I never would have expected that. That's amazing.
At a lively car appraisal event, the spotlight was on a 1970 Corvette Stingray, sleek and powerful. Its shark-like lines and chrome bumpers made it a true classic. The guest won the car through a radio contest, thanks to Paul Newman calling in. Newman even signed the dashboard, adding a personal touch to the ride. Originally valued at $18,000 to $24,000, the autograph boosted it to $30,000 to $40,000.
First Corvettes came out in 1953, and that's the first generation. They had a body style from 53 to 62.
With around 82,000 miles and a smooth tune-up, it's in great shape. The manual and automatic versions both attract collectors. The 350 engine under the hood makes it a roar. Paul Newman's racing legacy adds to the allure. For insurance, it's recommended to cover it for at least $65,000. With this car's history, it's more than just a ride. It's an icon. In the tranquil room, a breathtaking bronze sculpture was revealed. The piece featured an old man mid-leap, chasing his lost hat. His flowing clothes showed intricate detailing, adding movement to the figure.
So this fellow was working, and then the hat blows away, and it's blowing away on a wave.
Beneath him, waves curled, symbolizing a shallow rice field. The man balanced on one leg, defying gravity, while the extended base ensured stability. Crafted in the late 19th century by Kaneda, this was a prime example of Tokyo artisanship. The bronze shone with a timeless glow, capturing the essence of Japan's Meiji period.
It's made of bronze, and it was in response to a change in Japan during the Meiji period.
A small signature on the base confirmed the artist's identity. Every detail, from the textured waves to the man's weathered face, exuded mastery. The appraiser estimated its value at $12,000, a remarkable discovery.
For retail replacement purposes, I think a figure of $12,000 would be about right.
Really?
Now, it wasn't just a treasure, but a priceless piece of history. The moment felt surreal, unforgettable. In a chic design studio, the Billy Porter tuxedo gown stands as a masterpiece. Made from rich black silk velvet, its texture and silhouette scream luxury and elegance.
I start with a sketch. We go into a pattern, we get fabric. It's pretty old school of making clothes. There's no big machines. We have seamstresses that are upstairs right now making the clothes by hand. So it's a really beautiful process, actually.
This hand-sewn creation by skilled seamstresses took hours of intricate labor, a dying art in fashion today. The gown, worn by Billy Porter at the Oscars, captured everyone's attention with its bold, inclusive design. The fabric alone cost $7,500, but its true value is far beyond that. With its history, the appraiser suggested insuring it for at least $15,000. If sold at a charity auction, it could fetch an even higher price, potentially limitless.
For insurance value, I would think with that provenance and the uniqueness of the outfit, that you'd probably want to insure it for at least double that.
Yeah.
Each stitch carries memories of the red carpet and the designer's dedication. For the creator, these gowns aren't just clothes. They're personal, like cherished children. Each piece holds a deep connection and is almost impossible to part with. The uniqueness and craftsmanship make this gown iconic. With such a story behind it, it's truly priceless. Amid New York's space crunch and high cost, Ronnie Chang's treasured movie memorabilia reveals surprising values and personal significance. Ronnie Chang films on his rooftop because his New York apartment is too small for his collection.
We are right now filming on a rooftop because my house is not big enough to have more than one person in there.
The high cost of living in New York makes it hard to keep everything. Roadshow appraiser Simeon Littman is visiting to assess Ronnie's memorabilia. The collection includes items from Ronnie's work on Crazy Rich Asians. Littman appraises a personalized script with annotations at $1,500. The script's value is due to its connection with the popular film. Ronnie also has a signed music sheet from the film's live recording. This sheet, signed by conductor Brian Tyler, is valued at $750.
And this is actually a really cool piece for me. When we were in post-production for the movie, they composed all original music and they had a live orchestra play it. And so when they were recording the music for it,
Ronnie regrets not keeping more items from his trailer on set. He concludes that collecting these pieces might indeed bring happiness. In the discussion, the guest explains that the Gothic Revival chair was inherited from their father. When asked about their knowledge of the Gothic Revival style, the guest admits they simply like it and mentions having two smaller Gothic Revival hall chairs. The appraiser notes that the significant influence of the Gothic Revival style in the South. They explain that the Gothic Revival style, which was prominent in both architecture and furniture, resonated with Southern culture, particularly because of its connections to England. For instance, the State House is an example of Gothic Revival architecture. The appraiser highlights that Gothic Revival hall chairs, like the one in question, were typically placed in Greek Revival homes and used as decorative, albeit uncomfortable, elements that often had practical uses, such as storing foul-weather gear.
You have to do a little bit of research to find out what the original fabric was. Sometimes they were horsehair, but that's really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
The chair's seat can be lifted to store items, which the guest confirms they use for storage.
It's got the original finish. This is in the black, untouched, original surface. I love it.
The appraiser estimates the chair's value at around $25,000.
I would place an auction estimate on this chair of $3,000 to $5,000.
Yeah, that is awesome.
The guest recounts a story about how their father, as a college student riding a bicycle, noticed a lamp in an elderly gentleman's window and expressed interest in buying it. Although the lamp was initially not for sale, after a few months, the elderly man agreed to sell it to the father for $25, with the option to make payments. The appraiser confirms that the lamp has been in the family ever since. The guest notes that they had never seen the lamp as a child, and their father explained it was kept hidden to avoid damage. The appraiser identifies the lamp as a Steuben gold arene glass lamp, distinguished by its iridescent gold color. Steuben, which began operations around 1903 in Corning, New York, was contemporaneous with Tiffany and Company. The lamp, dating to about 1910, is notable for having both a glass shade and a glass base, a rare and unusual feature. The appraiser mentions that although it is not signed, the glass, color, and shape are distinctive of Steuben.
It's not unusual that it's not signed, but I recognize the glass and I recognize the color and I recognize the shape, and that's what tells me that it's Steuben.
At auction, the lamp could fetch between $2,500 and $3,500.
At auction, it would most likely sell for $2,500 to $3,500.
A substantial increase from the original $25 investment.
Not bad on a $25 investment.
I should say so, and it's a beautiful lamp.
The appraiser discusses the unique qualities of the guest pastel artwork, noting that pastels are relatively rare on the Roadshow compared to oils, watercolors, drawings, and prints. They explain that pastels were particularly popular around the turn of the century due to their spontaneous and quick application, allowing artists to create vibrant and dynamic pieces without the lengthy drying time associated with oil paints. The appraiser highlights that pastels offer a distinct calligraphic style and brilliant color. Although pastels are sometimes perceived as fragile, they are no more delicate than oil paintings when properly cared for, though they should be kept out of direct light.
And people are a little worried about pastels because they think that they're too fragile and have some condition issues. If they're well cared for, they're no more fragile than an oil painting. Goodwin did a lot of Boston seeds.
The appraiser identifies the artist as Goodwin, known for creating valuable scenes.
If they're well cared for, they're no more fragile than an oil painting. Goodwin did a lot of Boston seeds, which tend to be the most valuable ones.
They estimate the pastel's value to be between $2,000 and $3,000.
I think your pastel's worth between $2,000 and $3,000. That's wonderful.
In 1960s Utrecht, they found chairs that linked Dutch design with their American journey. They bought the chairs in Utrecht, Netherlands, around 1960. They moved to the United States in 1974 and took the chairs with them because they loved them dearly. The chairs were designed by Gerrit Rietveld, a renowned 20th century designer. Gerrit Rietveld was occasionally seen riding his bicycle through the city. Although Rietveld did not show them personally, his fame was well established. A new generation of collectors and enthusiasts still appreciate Rietveld's work. The chairs are known as crate chairs. Rietveld began his work in the 1910s and was associated with the textile movement around 1917 to 1918. The chairs are notable because they were crafted by one of Rietveld's collaborators, Van de Groen-Kaam. Van de Groen-Kaam started making furniture around 1925 and continued into the 1960s. They knew Van de Groen-Kaam personally. He lived in De Bilt, north of Utrecht. They visited him and commissioned the chairs from him. They recall paying around 200 guilders for the chairs at the time, which roughly translates to $60.
We probably paid like 200 guilders. I think that must translate to $60.
The chairs reflect Rietveld's modernist aesthetic, characterized by simplicity. A painting can tell stories that stretch beyond the canvas. A painting by the renowned surrealist Leonora Carrington was discussed, revealing both its personal history and current value.
Surrealism is understood most prominently by the work of Salvador Dali, someone like that, who has these images of the imagination and dreams and, in some cases, nightmares, which may apply to what we have here.
Originally from England, Carrington became a prominent surrealist after relocating to Mexico post-World War II. Known for her macrame, dreamlike imagery, she drew from personal experiences, like her tumultuous relationship with Max Ernst and the war's psychological impact. The appraiser described the 1961 oil-on-canvas work as deeply surreal, featuring a central wolf-like figure with multiple limbs. Eerie elements, such as bats and spiders, surround the figure, creating haunting imagery that reflects Carrington's darker psychological themes. The guest, who inherited the painting from her parents, shared that they had acquired it in Mexico, likely through friends connected to Mexican art collectors. While examining the condition of the item, the appraiser said,
I'd expect an auction estimate of $200,000 to $300,000 these days.
They bought well.
Discovered south of Erie, Pennsylvania, this chest holds a 300-year-old story. The chest from Pennsylvania was in the family for years before being added to their collection 15 years ago. Although the top had likely been replaced, they purchased it. This piece is a Hadley chest, made in western Massachusetts between 1680 and 1730. Estimated to date back to around 1710, it is around 300 years old. In its time, around 1710 or 1715, the style was highly sought after. Hadley chests are the largest known group of early American furniture and are extensively studied. The chest features a low, angular form and early construction methods. By the mid-18th century, these chests fell out of favor and were often stored in basements or attics. They were repurposed as storage or shipping crates and largely forgotten until rediscovered by collectors around 1880. Some Hadley chests were used as dowry chests, but many were not. The chest has a replaced lid, a common issue due to fragile snipe or hang hinges. Many chests have altered feet, but this one retains its full height and original red paint. Today, the chest could be worth $30,000 to $35,000, a significant increase from the $5,000 paid.
I would expect this chest with a replaced lid to bring between $30,000 and $35,000.
These signs from a World War II camp in Como, Mississippi, reveal the artistry of German POWs. During World War II, the narrator's father was stationed at a prisoner of war camp in Como, Mississippi. These signs German prisoners were held at Camp Como. The camp organized the prisoners by their regions of origin in Germany. As the camp was closing at the end of the war, the prisoners were allowed to create signs. While closing the camp, the narrator's father and a German private noticed these signs. The private expressed regret that they might be destroyed and suggested taking them instead. Consequently, the narrator acquired about 22 or 24 of these signs. The signs were organized by region, including Weser, Oder, and Elbe. Many people are unaware that there were nearly 500,000 German and other POWs in the United States. Most of these camps were located in the southern states due to the heating issues in colder climates. The tradition of POWs creating items dates back to the Napoleonic era and continued through World War I and World War II. The signs of Camp Como were originally mounted on posts, and some still show the shadows of these mounts. One sign bears a lieutenant's inscription and a date of 1945, possibly added later to identify the creator. These signs are considered highly valuable, with each sign potentially worth.
These would be easily $1,000 a piece, and maybe even a little bit more for some of the ones that have more detail.
The guest presented a collection of jewelry inherited from her mother, which had been passed down from her grandmother and great-grandmother. This collection carries a rich history, originating in Germany before the war and traversing through to Palestine. The appraiser began with a detailed assessment of the diamond twin stone ring, its transitional cut diamonds, which bridge the gap between old European and modern round brilliant cuts. Each center stone weighs approximately 2 1/4 carats, and the ring features over a carat of baguette cut diamonds on the shoulders, dating it to the 1950s. This piece, crafted in the Art Moderne style around 1935, showcases a stunning array of old European and old single-cut diamonds set in platinum, with the pin stem made of white gold. The larger diamonds total around 6 carats, complemented by an additional 5 carats of smaller ones, approximately 11 carats. The appraiser speculated that the brooch might be of German or Austrian origin based on its style.
So we're going to have to base our assessment on origin from the style.
The diamond ring could fetch between $25,000 and $35,000, while the brooch might reach $40,000 to $60,000.
I would say for auction, you'd be looking at the $25,000 to $35,000 range.
Wow.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we could expect in the $40,000 to $60,000 range at auction.
The guest brought an inkwell that had belonged to his favorite aunt. The piece was identified as a Tiffany creation with a particularly rare mosaic design. Tiffany mosaic inkwells are mostly unique due to the variation in the inset glass tile work. A consistent feature in these inkwells is the color gradation, with brighter colors at the top gradually darkening toward the bottom. This particular inkwell had some condition issues, including 2 missing tiles. The appraiser suggested the piece be repaired by a professional conservator. Additionally, the top of the inkwell appeared to have been pushed down. Despite this, the piece still retained both a bronze and glass liner inside, with traces of ink from years ago. The item bore 2 signatures, one on the underside and another from Tiffany Studios, New York. There was also a monogram for Tiffany Glass and Decorating Company. This confirmed the piece was from around 1900. If professionally restored, the value would be higher.
Now, if it were absolutely perfect, it would go for anywhere between $25,000 to $30,000.
Goodness.
Hidden away for years, a family heirloom emerges. They marveled at the treasure before them. It belonged to the guest's father. Oddly, none of the family had ever seen it as children. They only discovered it after his passing while sorting through his belongings. It had been hidden away in a wardrobe. The appraiser pointed out a brass plaque with the maker's name, Troman & Kale. The box was made of rosewood, a very expensive wood. Inside was a full set of games, including dominoes, draughts, and a cribbage board. There was also a horse racing game with beautifully crafted pieces. The appraiser suggested a value of its worth.
So I would put something like £400 to £600 on it.
Okay, that's good.
With a £400 fixed reserve.
The guest was pleased with the estimate. The collector brought in a remarkable collection of jewelry, each piece rich with personal history and significant craftsmanship. One necklace, purchased while working as a holiday rep in Sorrento, serves as a cherished memento of a joyful season in Italy. Another bracelet, acquired in the early 60s as a gift from an Italian partner, stands out not only for its sentimental value, but also for its historical price, reflecting its worth at the time. A Pisces pendant, crafted by a jeweler friend, showcases a personal touch, while a ring made from diamonds salvaged from a property sale near Rimini highlights a unique blend of personal history and craftsmanship. The appraisal reveals that these pieces, all crafted in 18-karat gold, are exceptionally well made, each with a substantial weight and intrinsic value. The centerpiece diamond is 1 piece, nearly 2 carats, and is notably well set. Their estimated auction values reach around £14,000, a surprising revelation that underscores their true worth.
And at auction, they would go for around £14,000. Wow.
The collector appreciating that they are not mere jewelry, but integral parts of their personal history.
The provenance of where I got them from was lovely. It made me realize how special they are. They're not just pieces of jewelry. They're part of me.
Posters not only advertise or decorate, but also capture historical and cultural moments. About 10 to 15 years ago, a collector started buying artwork by Bern Hill, an artist known for his railway-themed designs from the 1950s. Hill's art focused on scenery around trains, which some didn't like because it minimized the locomotives.
But from what I understand, Hill liked to try to capture the essence of a railroad in his scenery.
The company where the collector worked, Electromotive, discarded Hill's artwork, but others saved it and sold it privately. The collector bought some pieces for just $1, even though they are now worth much more. Surprisingly, the original artwork often sells for less than the posters. However, Hill's work stands out for blending railway history, modernism, and design. While examining the condition of the item, the appraiser said,
"The original studies for the posters themselves are worth, at auction, $3,000 to $4,000 a piece."
Oh, wow. Rings often carry stories that span generations, serving as symbols of love, history, and artistry. A guest presented a ring given to her grandmother by her grandfather as an engagement gift when they married in 1915. Believed to be a canary diamond set in platinum, the ring had never been appraised.
A canary is a term that we really don't use in the jewelry world as much as we used to.
Identifying the stone instead as a fancy, intense yellow-colored diamond, with the yellow saturation determining its value. Estimated to be about a half carat in size, the diamond's weight was carefully gauged using a millimeter measurement, while still secured within its original setting. The appraiser further highlighted the intricate and delicate platinum craftsmanship, a hallmark of early 20th century jewelry designs, which enhanced the overall elegance of the piece. Although unsigned, the ring's garland motif hinted at fine craftsmanship, likely from an East Coast jeweler. While examining the condition of the item, the appraiser said,
For auction purposes, I would estimate this to be worth anywhere between $4,000 and $6,000.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Beautiful.
Yeah.
A family heirloom painting unexpectedly uncovers a hidden legacy. The painting came from Canada, passed down from the stepfather who purchased it in 1929. It has been in the current owner's possession since 1966. The owner knows little about the artist, but believes he worked in the late 1800s. The artist is Charles H. Wilde, born in 1854 and died in 1907. Wilde grew up in Vienna and had a studio in Cairo. He is associated with the Orientalism movement, popular in the late 19th century. The painting is titled The Hour of Prayer and is signed by Wilde. It features a man engaged in prayer, beautifully expressing spirituality. The Orientalist style captures the everyday life of North African and Middle Eastern culture. The painting's detail, texture, and smoothness are stunning examples of the movement. The appraiser informed the guest about its estimated worth.
I would say in 2018, if your painting came to auction, we would value it at $30,000 to $50,000.
Art not only expresses emotions, but also connects people across cultures and time. A person shares their story about meeting the famous artist Lucian Bernhard. After graduating from art school in the 1960s, they worked for Bernhard's son, Karl. As a thank you for doing some personal favors, Bernhard offered to pay them, but they refused. Instead, he gave them a portfolio of his original artwork.
These are the original artworks. His influence on graphic design and on typography is almost undefinable.
They now regret not accepting his offer of paintings as well. Bernhard is known for creating 36 typefaces. He revolutionized advertising with his simple object posters in Germany, including his 1906 design for Priester matches. The portfolio included several valuable pieces, such as studies and collages for different brands. While examining the condition of the items, the appraiser said,
Auction estimate for the group that I would be very comfortable thinking they would sell.
Okay.
Would be $15,000 to $20,000.
Okay.
A 20-year-old sculpture surprises its owner with a remarkable appraisal. The guest bought a bronze sculpture in New York City over 20 years ago from a dealer specializing in Haitian art. She was immediately drawn to the piece, relating to its statuesque beauty. The appraiser identifies the artist as Ángel Botello, a multifaceted creator. Botello, born in Spain in 1913, studied architecture and painting in Paris. He lived in Haiti for several years before moving to Puerto Rico in 1953. The appraiser estimates the sculpture was created in the early 1980s. The piece features a charming seated child with a modern stylized design. Its appealing flat face and textured dress add to its warmth. The guest recalls paid $1,000 for the sculpture, a significant investment at the time. The appraiser confirms that Botello's work is highly desirable and valued in the market. The estimated gallery value of the sculpture is as follows.
Value in a gallery is probably about $10,000.
Okay, nice, really nice.
The daughters of Henry Jordan reveal priceless rings steeped in legacy. The appraiser meets the daughters of NFL Hall of Famer Henry Jordan. They share that their father passed away in 1977. Their mother divided his jewelry among them. They explain that he played as a defensive tackle and was known for his speed and agility. The daughters highlight their father's wit, recalling one of his famous quotes about Coach Vince Lombardi. They present various championship rings, including the last NFL championship ring and the first Super Bowl ring. Additionally, they show a charm bracelet commemorating their father's achievements. The daughters reveal their father wore all his rings, but favored the Super Bowl II ring. They reminisce about growing up around the players and their father's Hall of Fame career. The appraiser estimates the combined auction value of the rings.
At auction, combined, this would bring $75,000
Really?
to $100,000.
Wow.
The daughters express amazement at the valuation. In this exclusive behind-the-scenes interview, we get an intimate glimpse into the story of one of the guests. Upon learning the appraised value of her cherished items, the guest became visibly emotional. Her reaction wasn't just about the monetary value, but rather the deep sentimental connection tied to the item's provenance.
Well, when Gloria told me the value, I just started crying because this bracelet was my husband's grandmother, Hilda.
The bracelet is as beautiful as it is historic. This piece dates from the late Edwardian period, transitioning into the Art Deco style. Made with platinum, diamonds, and natural pearls, it stands as a testament to the craftsmanship of the era. The bracelet has an even deeper story. It originates from the home of the guest husband's family, a house still standing in Germany to this day.
The house of the family is still in Frankfurt, but now it's a hotel, and we stayed there. It was very interesting.
Though inside, the exquisite workmanship speaks volumes. There's also a postcard accompanying the bracelet, linking it back to Germany, which further confirms its origin and family history. As for the bracelet's value, it's been insured for.
If I had to insure it, I would put probably $20,000 on it because I don't think you could find one.
Wow.